Hey there everybody, Mike with the Modern Polymath here. It's the first cool-ish day in Oklahoma this year in October, and so that means here pretty soon I'm going to switch over my kind of wilderness, bug out, something along that lines bag out for more the winter time, so more for the summertime right now. So I thought I'd take a moment to go ahead and talk about, how I have that set up and why. Now, my bag is based around, like many people's, the 10 C's from Dave Canterbury. It starts with the original 5: cutting tool, combustion, cover, container, cordage, and then later he added cotton bandana, cargo tape, compass, cloth sail needle, and kindling device. I have at least one, if not multiples, of every one of these items, except for cloth sail needle, which I just, for my use, don't find very practical. The main thing that's going to be used for is for repairs, and the idea behind my bag is really just a day or two getting home. I have a whole bunch of bug out related things in my truck all the time, but if I know I'm going to be heading into a more wilderness area, then I will throw this in the truck too to give me kind of backup, whether I'm going to be staying with the truck in an emergency or trying to get to whatever home is, say get snowed in or something like that. So this bag currently sits at 24 pounds. It is a little heavy. I think part of that is that the bag itself is pretty low quality and cheap. It's a Ozark or outdoor products, which is I think Walmart. I would like to upgrade the bag, and I've been thinking about that. The problem is all my other good backpacking bags are quite large. This one just happened to be the one I had that was the right size. So I need to get something this size. I don't actually know what it is. I'm guessing by looking at it, it's probably a 20 liter bag. Definitely not a 30. It's too small for that. I don't think there's anything else. No, so let's go ahead and let's get started on this tour. So I'm going to kind of discuss it, not by type of item, but kind of how they're placed around it in the bag. Okay, so starting with the outside, it has these zipper pockets, which aren't really great for holding water bottles. I wish they were better, but that's how I use them. So on this side, I've got one of the Life Straw models. So you just put the water in there. There's the filter right there. I like, even though it's a little inconvenient to get this off quickly, I like it that it keeps that from getting dirty. Kind of nice to have something to hold on here. 0.65 liters is what this guy holds. I do leave the instructions in there just because if I'm out in the field and for some reason I'm concerned about something, then I could read it. I'd obviously take that out when I was going to use this. I basically, when I buy these, I use them once to test them. I fully dry them out, and then this guy sits pretty much unused. That way I'm not using up the filter, even though it's going to last way more than what I'm going to be able to drink in a couple of days in a bug out situation. But that's just kind of the way I'm being safe about that. And then the other one I have is a good old Nowsing, which I have hundreds of. But this one in particular is single wall metal, right? So this is my container. This is what I can put in a fire and boil water if I need to. Again, not likely. In this scenario, I'm mostly in urban environments. But if I need to, then I can with this. Again, single wall, because you can't, if you put a double wall on a fire, it could explode on you. And then in here, it keeps some traditional, I think these are Catadin water tablets. So I have multiple ways, 3 right here, to purify water. The only real disadvantage of this is the weight, right? So it is a little bit heavier than a regular canteen, but really not much. And I'm not keeping any sort of bowl or anything like that in here that would be metal. So overall, weight-wise, this is a place where I could reduce, but then I don't have anything to boil water, and that's going to be just something I have to have. That's a have-to-have for me. Okay. Now let's kind of look at the top of the pack. In here I have items that I believe I would need quite often in this situation, or need to get to very quickly. So, a small little monocular. A scenario that I foresee is that, this has happened in Oklahoma a few times. You have bad winter weather and a bunch of people literally get stuck on the highway together. I have a capable four-wheel drive truck, but if I'm boxed in by vehicles in every direction, I can't get anywhere, gotta walk home. being able to scout out, whether it's a dangerous or non-dangerous situation, to me is worth the weight of having this. It doesn't weigh much, but it really could come at advantage in these situations to avoid something that could be dangerous. A small trauma kit. This one has the, what do you call that tourniquet? The SWAT T. It's not my favorite tourniquet. I'm a cat tourniquet guy, but for its size, I have cat tourniquets everywhere, many in my truck. I'm going to be able to grab one to go with this kit, but just in case I can't, if it's the only thing I grab, I have a tourniquet and some trauma dressings and stuff like that in here. The other reason the cat T is good to have around is, what really makes it bad is it's hard to self-apply, and it's maybe hard to get as tight as a cat. But the advantages of it are you can use it very easily on things with small limbs, like animals, dogs, and babies or kids. It's also something you can kind of improvise as a sling or something like that. So it has a lot of uses. I would prefer never to only have a SWAT T, but in addition to a cat T, having a SWAT T can be a really great advantage. These Adventure Medical Kit Trauma Pack Pros, I think they still sell these, are great kits to just kind of have thrown everywhere. This. Okay, so I'm assuming that mostly for me, the situations I'm going to be in are not tactically dangerous situations, but usually like weather-related situations. So I need to get out of there for whatever reason, but I also, if I have the opportunity to signal for help, I want to be able to. So I've got one of these compact aerial flare kits. So a small flare kit, of course also a fire making device, but would prefer not to do that because then I don't have flares. And then these guys from, next these, Life Gear. These are awesome. They're just these cheap little flashlight sticks. But what these are great on is they have great forwards. They have a red mode, and then I tie a little string on them, and you can circle it like this at nighttime, and it's a great signaling device. Like, hey, I'm over here. Hey, I'm over here. Very light, very cheap. Also could be a source of light at night, or if you need red light for tactical reasons. This right here is one of my compass kits. So basically what do you have here? Over here you've got a small amount of paper and a pin, all right in the rain. Again, signaling, whistle, and a signal wheel. I keep tape around it, A, to have a little extra tape, and B, to keep it from getting too scratched. If I got into an emergency situation, I'd take that tape off right away, because when you need it, you're going to need it. And then a compass, one of the C's. This is a silver, I believe. Yep, this is a basic silver compass. And then always, I'm going to have maps, waterproof maps, that's right in the rain paper inside of a waterproof pocket. So always going to have those for my local area. Those are topographical maps. And then if I'm going somewhere, especially if I'm going somewhere that I haven't been before, then maps are going to get added to this before I head out. Okay, there's another front pocket here. In here is where I keep my tools, essentially. So the two things I'm going to have is one of these Light by Fire knives. I like this one. I like the Light by Fire knives because they're kind of the best full-tang, cheap, outdooring knife. Great to, have around. And I have used them. They're not going to last forever, but they're pretty darn good. And for, again, a day or two, and I'm not going to really try to be like doing a lot of, making camp and stuff like that. This is just going to be quick processing along the way to get home. So I love this guy. I chose the orange one so that, it's less likely that I lose it or leave it somewhere. I like that they come with the little sheath. This one also has just a small fire strike on it. I've, on another one, used this. It's not great, but again, it's a great little backup. And really doesn't add to much of anything because it's part of the knife, weighs next to nothing. Great to have. And then I have the Pocket Boy saw. I think this is Silky Pocket Boy? Yeah, Silky Pocket Boy. Again, not going to be doing a lot of processing, so this little one's great. I have this in lieu of an axe because of weight and size. Again, if I was going to go spend a week outdoors and I knew it, I would probably take a bigger saw and an axe. But again, just to have, to get out of situations, maybe a small tree's falling across the road, you got to get it out of the way so your truck can move on. There you go. Is this going to be great with its size? No, but is it better than nothing? Absolutely. I could get rid of the case. That is a little bit of extra weight and bulk, but it's never bothered me thus far, so I've kept it. Alright, so now we're going to head inside the pack. Just because I have a small table, I went ahead and put that stuff back in the bag. So first thing you have on top in a waterproof case is my fire kit. This is a little bulky because it's hard plastic, but it really is not very heavy duty, so it's not a lot in weight. And I've got all the kind of things you would have in a fire kit: fire striker, lighter, matches, and then different kinds of fuel. Again, in a waterproof case, so that's not getting wet. Next thing I have, I need to find a better bag for it, but just in Ziploc I have a few things. So I've got marking tape. I could probably cut this down to a lot less to save space and size. But the reason that I have this is great. If you've set up a camp and you want to go explore, basically you can go out until you can't, still see camp, put this on a tree, keep going until you can see this. It allows you to stage out as you're exploring an area and make sure that you have a path back to camp and don't get lost. Because often once you set up camp right, you're going to kind of leave your gear in camp, so you especially don't want to get separated from that. You've got Gorilla Brand duct tape. I like the skinnier stuff just because of size. It's part of the reason I keep it in here too, is sticky. So this keeps the sticky from getting on everything. This is one of the C's cargo tape, which is word for duct tape. So I have this. This can be used for construction and all sorts of things, but also because I don't have the cloth sail needle, this can very much be used to repair a lot of things like clothing and shoes or whatever, because again, I'm not going to be out there long, a couple of days, need to get back home. I have these smaller ropes with these little kind of quick hitches on them, I guess you could say. I have 4 of them. This is specifically for my shelter system. My shelter system is very basic because I don't intend to really spend much time in it. Again, I'm going to try to be on the move as much as possible to get back home. But then the other thing about these is because they're kind of quick, is like if bad guys are coming or something's happening and I got to get out of there quick, you can just cut the rope and run, but this is great because I can get these off super quick, get them in the bag, get out of town. And then I just have some assorted cordage, again another one of the C's. So you got kind of your traditional 550, which I chose in a bright color so that I kind of see it, don't forget it, that kind of stuff. And then some smaller cordage just for who knows what it is that I need to do in the woods to get home and be safe and all that. Okay. Some big easy stuff. So this is my shelter system. It's kind of a custom thing that I did. So what I went and did is buy one of the side panels for the pop-up tents. It's very large and very lightweight, so going to give me a lot of coverage. I can make all sorts of different shelters with this. Quick and easy. It's silver on one side, blue on the other, so I can kind of be hidden or I can kind of be seen depending on what I want to do. Can be a ground cloth, can be all sorts of things. Wrapped up inside of here is 4 very lightweight tent stakes. Again, because I'm assuming that I'm not going to spend a lot of time in my shelter and I might need to move on the quick. I don't want to sit around and make tent stakes. So the very light ones are lightweight, and they don't take up much weight. So the other thing I did with this is, because it was designed as the side of a pop-up tent, it didn't have any grommets on it. So I went around and put a bunch of grommets on it and reinforced where those grommets are. That's kind of for me, that way I can put this together in different shelter shapes of all different kinds depending on what my scenario is and my needs are. So for boiling of water, making of food, which to me the food piece is kind of an element that's important to me because I may not sleep a lot, it may be a rough environment. Food is something that's going to be able, both morale and energy-wise, keep me going. So I want to be able to do that, so I've afforded some weight to that. This takes up, obviously, this is a jet boil, the iconic jet boil. Obviously takes up quite a bit of space and weight comparatively if I left it out, but to me, if I, in the situation, if I decide to leave it in the truck, I can leave it in the truck. But to me, this is a really great tool to have. I keep inside, obviously, the stove. That's what's kind of cool about these guys. They're kind of self-contained, but also a can of fuel. So if I need to get something going, obviously the main reason I would probably make a fire for me would be water and food. Maybe if it's cold temperature, but this is also kind of my summer setup. So really this is just about food. And again, I might not have the time nor want to take a lot of time to set up camp and eat and all that. So this guy boils water in a couple minutes. I'm ready to go, make my food, and I'm on my way. Okay, next one. The Henry Survival Rifle. This is kind of an iconic weapon. This is obviously bulky and heavy, but in the wilderness could be a very valuable tool. So what is this? This is a small magazine-fed 22 rifle, where the barrel and the components of the gun are in the stock, as well as a couple of magazines for the weapon. So basically a self-contained 22 rifle. Really the only thing about this that I would probably change is that it doesn't have a sling, so I'm going to have to hold it all the time. I probably need to figure out a sling situation for this. But really amazing tool to have. Being able to, in some senses, self-defense, but hunting a small game, that's definitely where this could be valuable. And then kind of also in a survival scenario, a lot of people are not going to be like, oh, it's a 22 rifle, they're just going to see a guy with a rifle. So if you need that kind of threat protection, then it's going to allow for that. And then I kind of modded it. I put some tape back in here in this area that goes inside the butt cover here, or the stock cover of the butt, because this thing is incredibly hard to get off. And especially if you're tired or your hands are wet or whatever. So this is kind of like a pull tab essentially to help me get this thing open. I'm not going to take it apart or anything like that, but I can do a separate video on just this guy if you would like that. Okay. Excuse me. So obviously with this guy, he doesn't have a rain fly and he's not waterproof. I thought about getting a rain cover, but ultimately what I decided was just to make sure everything inside was waterproof. So I have these lightweight duty bags. Again, not super heavy duty. I want it to be lightweight, but will keep my stuff dry. So what do I have in here? Basically electronics and 22 ammo. So I think this is what, 20, 25 each? Oh, 50. So it's 100 rounds. A lot of rounds of 22. That's kind of what's great about this. 22 obviously has limited capacity as a round, but it's so lightweight, so small, can do a lot. Next, backup AAA and AA for my various electronics. GPS, because again, I have the compass, I have the maps, but what I need to do is get home as efficiently and quickly as possible, so GPS definitely need this. And then torch. Torch meaning flashlight. So I'm a big fan of hands-free headlight. I often wear them around my neck instead of on my head. This one's like very simple, no red light, no modes, on off, very simple. It's the Astro model. I love this little guy. Just, gonna give me enough light to get home, and that's what I need. I'm gonna have flashlights all over my truck, all over my person, all the time. So I'm gonna have a lot of flashlight options if something was to happen. But again, just to have, if all I get is the bag, all I get is this orange guy right here, and I have to live off of that, then I need to make sure I have all my basics covered. I would also say too that the mentality of this is less the SHTF grab it and run kind of bag where everything's got to be exactly ready to go. I kind of think of this as most likely scenario, I'm abandoning my truck for some reason. My truck is packed full of survival goodies, but I'm not going to have any of those because I'm leaving the truck. So I look at this like I'm going to have a little bit of time before I leave the truck to take things out I don't think I'm going to need, add things from the truck I do think I'm going to need. So there's a little bit of that in here that I kind of assume that I'm probably going to mix and match this guy on my way out the door. Alright, on to our next bag. Okay. In this bag. It's kind of a mismatch of, I would say, like toiletries and food. First of all, you're going to have your cotton bandana, which I would probably get out, keep in my pocket, but I have it here just to keep it dry for now. I have multiples of these potty packs, which is toilet paper, a seat cover, wet wipes, and hand sanitizer, or that kind of stuff. And then these park packs, 2 of them, which is suntan, insect repellent, earplugs, lip balm, wet wipe, hand sanitizer. So again, just a little bit to keep me clean in this scenario. I do have like a fat wood stick. I can probably ditch this. I think for the environment and the situation I'm trying to build around, this is probably more than I need. And then the rest of this is food. Right here, you've got some hydration drink stuff and some Cliff Bars. So this would be kind of the quick go food and drinks, also requiring obviously no cooking of any kind, or heating or anything like that. And then I have a stripped down MRE. This one is the pizza. Stripped down, obviously you're now opening it up, but this saves a lot of space, and it's still in the bag and it's inside here, and it is all the components. This is, you know, definitely enough food to be not even just enough, like, to be comfortable and not hungry over a 20 or 2 day period. And yeah, again, lots of space and kind of weight dedicated to food, but that's just a personal preference me thing. I don't like being hungry, and I know that this is going to help with morale, keep me motivated. So, you know, that's important in a bug out scenario. So that's why I have dedicated that amount of space and time to this. And I'm actually going to just leave the fat wood stick out because I don't think he's going back in there. Okay. We'll put this over here. Put that back here. Okay, I think we're getting down to the last. Yeah, last little bit here. Okay, so in the bottom here, what do we have? Okay, so remember this is set up for summertime. So clothing wise, all I'm going to really worry about is a set of socks and skivvies to switch out. During the winter, I'm going to be more about having more in the way of clothes, but for the time and world that I'm in right now, that's more than enough. And then the only other thing, I think the only other, another bandana, and a small sleeping bag. This is just a light bit of comfort item. It doesn't take up too much space for a sleeping bag. Is very light. This is a 50 degrees, so again, very summer rated bag. But you know, in the night, if I'm only going to sleep, let's say, a couple hours for some reason, I want to be able to get to sleep. So being able to have a little bit of warmth can go a long way. You know what, actually, let's leave this out, and let's look at the last few items in here. Okay. One of these Soul Sport utility blankets. Essentially, this is a heavy-duty space survival blanket, whatever they call them. The ones that are real small are obviously small and lightweight, and they're great, I think, for like medical response. But to me, even in like a 2-day scenario, those things rip apart so quickly, so easily. So this is going to go a long way. This is great, basically, with my shelter. I'm probably going to use this as the tarp, keep me out of the rain and the wind, and then this on the ground to keep me isolated from the ground. You know, additionally, I'll probably throw down some pine needles or something like that to try to get me off the ground a little bit, limit that thermal conduction from me to the ground. But this also could be a shelter itself. So very multi-use item, very lightweight. Trash bags, because trash bags. If there's something like add to the list of C's, trash bags should be up there. As just every kit should have them. These are the thick contractor grade ones. Again, this can be ground cover, shelter, you know, a million things that you can use a trash bag for. Frog Togs top and bottoms, the lightweight versions. I like these. They're not like my favorite rain jackets. My favorite rain jackets are probably Eddie Bauer. Those are very heavy duty, but these are great to have in go kits like this. Again, the lightweight ones because it's summertime. But this also can go both ways, right? It's lightweight, so it's not going to overheat me, hopefully. But then also, if it is getting windy and cold, in combination with these other items, this can kind of be a thermal layer for summer. Okay, so that's it. That's the bag. So again, 10 C's that we've covered. Cutting tool, combustion, cover, container, cordage, cotton bandana, cargo tape, duct tape, compass, cloth sail needle, I said not included in my kit, candling device, flashlight. So that is my kit. Now, I've made the choice, you can kind of go 2 different ways, I would say, with the electronic items like the flashlight and the GPS. You can either go rechargeable and have a battery bank, or batteries and have batteries. There's advantages to both. I decided in this scenario to go with batteries because just the weight of the battery banks are so heavy. And so that's kind of the decision I've made there. I don't need a lot in batteries. Basically the devices, they have batteries in them for a 48 hour, 72 hour period. It's unlikely I'll even use up the initial set of batteries, and then I have a full set of backups as well. So going to be totally fine on power. But then in my truck, it's kind of the opposite. Most everything I have in there is USB rechargeable because all the items are on kind of a USB brick inside the vehicle so that I can grab them and use them and they're always charged. And then I have charged battery banks that if I want to take those items on the go with me, I can grab the battery banks too and be good. So that is my summer in the Midwest, specifically Oklahoma. Bug out, summer. Let me restart. So this is my summer in the Midwest, non-urban, bug out bag, based off, wilderness kind of needs. Again, I have a lot of this stuff in my truck 24/7, but this is just to kind of stack that up. So anytime I am going anywhere wilderness like, I take this. When there's going to be bad weather, I take this. Anytime I'm going out of state in my truck, I take this. Yeah. So I hope this was helpful. I hope that you are inspired. If you have questions, drop me a comment. I love talking about this stuff. Here soon-ish, I will redo this for winter, and then I'll drop another video kind of talking about how I changed it up for winter. It's going to obviously be more clothes is the main thing, layers for that, and maybe a little bit change up in the food. So with that, again, Mike with the Modern Polymath, thank you for watching this video, and we'll be back soon with another one. Oh, and thank you, Dave Canberra.